There we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Low Light Sports Podcast. I am your host, Sean. That is your other host, Darquise. We
Darquise.
are
You just called me
what?
Darquise? You
No,
had
I
a
said Marquise.
you said it. You put a D in front of my name.
No, no,
Okay.
you're mishearing things.
You can hear
Anywho,
this back, people. America, you can hear this back. He said Darquise.
anywho, I would never. That's racist. Um, this is the Untitled Sports Podcast where we're going to talk about basketball, mainly the NBA, also mainly the 76ers, because we're biased and we don't care.
We don't.
Um, but besides the 76ers, I actually want to start things off by giving Marquise some credit
Thank you.
because
Thank you.
it turns out Marquise might actually be psychic.
It turns
I
out.
said I didn't see the Celtics winning another game. You said they were going to split in Boston, but after that, it was probably over. And lo and behold, they split in Boston and went back to San Fran, and Golden State beat them
Um,
by 10 points. So,
I appreciate. You
yes,
noticing me. I appreciate you noticing me. But it's
yeah,
still
per,
one more game for them to win the championship. I think they still have it. I
yeah,
think Boston is defeated. You saw body language.
yeah,
Because they blew this game. They blew the last two games.
yeah,
Honestly, they blew the last two games. And that's when the Golden State's experience kicks in, because they've been
yeah.
there before. They know what it takes, and it really showed. Game 4 and game 5.
I think at this point, you're really just rooting for yourself to be right.
Yes.
I think that's the only reason you're like one more game. Job's not finished.
Job's not finished, man. Job's not
We
finished.
got
Job's
one
not
more
done.
game, Golden State. We got one more game before I'm a prophet.
Yeah, before I'm the prophet, man. I listen.
If
I
you get this right, you will have a better percentage, a better guessing percentage already than Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
You will be 1 for 1.
I mean, he did pick the Warriors, but he did like go back on his word when he saw Boston
Yeah,
give him that work that game 1.
yeah, and we can't forget the span of what was it, 6 or 7 years when he picked the wrong team to win the finals
Yeah.
for like seven
He
years
picked he
straight.
picked the Rockets to make it to the finals that year that CP got injured.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Not even just to make it, just to win the finals.
Yeah,
Like
he had them
he
winning.
picked the wrong team every year. No, no, no. I mean, like once the
Oh, once they
finals
got there,
started,
okay. Once they
yeah,
got there.
once they got there, he picked the wrong team for 7 years straight.
Yep.
I believe it was 7 or 6.
It's
But
terrible. It's terrible at
you're
guessing.
already off to a better start.
I need one more game.
You need
One
one
more
more
game.
game.
One more
One
game.
more game before Marquise gets his Finals MVP.
My Finals MVP. I'm still in the Finals MVP from Steph Curry, just like Andrew Wiggins.
Oh God! If that, and you know what's crazy? So let's talk about that.
Yes, sir.
So Andrew Wiggins had a really good game, and already it seems like people are more excited about that than the game that Steph just had in what was it, Game 4?
Game 4, we dropped 43.
Right? Because I guess people have just come to expect that from Steph, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because people are going to point to the defense that Andrew Wiggins has played on Jason Tatum this whole series, combined with the fact that he just went off in Game 5, if he
When
does it
Steph
again,
struggled, when Steph struggled,
when Steph struggled, if he does it again, Andrew Wiggins has a legit chance of winning Finals MVP, which is crazy to me. That's crazy.
it's not crazy to me because I seen Andre Iguodala win it for the same fucking reason.
But that was crazy. That was crazier.
Because LeBron still averaged 35 points in that
Yeah,
playoff series.
exactly. Exactly. You got a Finals MVP for being a defensive stopper, and the guy you were guarding went off
Didn't stop. You didn't
constantly.
stop him at all.
You didn't stop him.
It was like,
If
hey,
anything, you made it inconvenient for him, but
right,
he did it. Like he still went off. It was just everyone else around him,
yeah,
which wasn't much because Kyrie and Kevin were injured. So
yeah.
it's like,
So it's listen, Andre Iguodala is Hall of Famer, man. First ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best players to ever
God.
play the game.
And
It's
he's still on the Warriors, right?
Andre Iguodala's on the Warriors. Yes,
Yeah.
he came back this year.
So if they win, Andre Iguodala will have another championship
Four
along with
championships,
a Finals MVP.
Finals MVP.
He will have just as many championships and one more Finals MVP than Steph Curry,
Yes, he would
even
have.
though
He would
he
have.
got it by being carried by Steph Curry.
He would have just the same as amount of championships as LeBron in 3 less Finals MVPs.
Can you imagine that?
Kobe Bryant only has
Imagine Andre
what?
Iguodala is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Hey, bro, listen. He went there. He changed his role. They made him come off the bench. He took it with a stride. And I mean, listen,
To
listen.
win Finals MVP off the bench,
Yes, off the
that is the
bench.
craziest thing I've ever
You
heard.
don't see shit like that unless like it's in college. Like Dante
No, because
DiVincenzo
you're
came
not
off the
supposed
bench.
to.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Dante DiVincenzo came off the bench and won the MVP of the tournament because he just went off. But that's
Exactly.
college. That's college.
And he played, even though he came off the bench, he played starters minutes,
Yeah,
which Iguodala does as well, or did in
yeah,
that series, but only because he had to guard LeBron,
yeah.
which he didn't
Because they didn't
particularly
trust.
do all that well.
Because they didn't trust Harrison Barnes on LeBron. So they was like, "Hey, Iggy, you got that?" I mean, and that was what 6 years ago. Six. Actually,
No,
no. 7 years ago because
7 years ago.
6 years ago. No, longer than that. God damn. I'm thinking of this like it's 2020. It's
That was
2022.
2015, wasn't it?
That was 2015 when they won their first championship.
7 years, yeah. Yeah.
Dude. Time
Can you
flies.
imagine, like, and Steph is, how old is Steph? 34?
34. Yes.
The Warriors are scary.
They're scary, bro. And then on top of that, they have options to either rebuild, have a team under them rebuilding, or add another star, a legit star that wants out, because they
Yep.
have all these young pieces,
Yep.
and they still have all their draft picks.
Yep.
They're a very scary team. As like I said,
They're one of the few teams, Golden State and Miami are basically the two only teams that if Joel Embiid requested a trade, they're probably the only two teams that can give you what you want.
Yeah.
Like, and it be a fair trade.
and Joel gets to a place where he can actually win.
Yep.
So yeah, that is it.
Because just as much, because obviously Joel loves Jimmy, but Joel loves Steph too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they hang out a lot. They're both Team Under Armour.
I think he would more so want to go to Miami than Golden State because
I think so
his
too.
connection with Jimmy is stronger.
I think so too, and I think Miami will utilize him in the way that he more so wants to. Whereas Golden State, they don't really use their bigs the same way. Like, they're more so just like screen setters and, like, rebounders, get putbacks. Even when they had Boogie, they kind of barely used him.
I mean, he got injured also, so he
He
never
did,
really
but
got
even
there.
before that, like, all right, well, you can go even further back than Andrew Bogut. Like, Andrew Bogut was not a scorer. Like, they weren't throwing the ball to him in the
Yeah,
post. You know.
for sure.
So I think that's one of the main reasons why. Obviously, if he just wants to win, then Golden State's the better option.
The
But
same reason I would be scared if Joel Embiid went to Miami is the same reason I wanted to trade Ben Simmons for Chris Paul when Chris Paul was in OKC.
yeah,
Because Miami makes people monsters. Like,
yep.
they just make them monsters. Tyler Hero was cool coming out of Kentucky. They made Tyler Hero a monster. Bam was cool coming out of Kentucky. They got two Kentucky guys. They made Bam into a monster. Victor Oladipo
That's
was
why. That's
was damn near out the
that's
league.
part of the reason why I give. That's part of the reason why I personally give Kentucky more credit for that than, because we talked about that in the last podcast about how
Yeah.
people from Kentucky just come out ready.
And the reason I wanted Chris Paul when before OKC before Phoenix eventually traded for him is because Chris Paul made DeAndre Jordan a first team All NBA player. Imagine Chris Paul with a Joel Embiid, bro.
Look at what he just did. And Chris Paul has never had a player like Joel Embiid. To be fair, James Harden hasn't either, but James Harden has shown on multiple occasions that when it comes to the playoffs, he's not the same guy. Whereas Chris, on the other hand, when he's healthy, he's great preseason, like regular season and postseason. He'll have a couple bad games like here and there, but for the most part, like he can carry a team still.
A pick and roll.
Like if you put the right pieces around him, he can win you a game almost by himself.
A pick and roll with Chris Paul and Joel Embiid would be the most dangerous shit in fucking history. Because Joel's not a lob catcher, but he can catch some bitches. Like Joel, the reason Joel doesn't jump like he did his rookie year is because they told his ass not to. They literally told his ass not to. Man used to jump on.
He's shown on multiple occasions he can still get up. He just doesn't want to. Same with Blake.
Right.
Like I
think Blake is more so.
Won't.
I think Blake is more so age than the fact that he can't do it anymore. I think his age is catching up to him. I think it's him being aware of his age, not necessarily his age restricting him. I think he's like, look, I'm older now. I simply can't afford. Right, I want to be the league
the
longer.
Possibility of getting injured. Yeah, exactly.
Because you're already on minimums. You're already on vet minimums, so it's like it's starting to wind down. Like once you're on a vet minimum,
a way, I was gonna say, in a way, LeBron is kind of the same way right now. Like he can still get up, but he just kind of doesn't.
So, like I was saying about Blake, is like once you're on a veteran minimum, it's hard as fuck to get off that shit. It's hard as shit to get off of it, especially when you're injury prone and people know that you're injury prone. Like Boogie's going to constantly have 1 year deals. He's never going to get a multi-year deal anymore, unless if he does, it's going to be 2 years. If Blake does, it's going to be 2 years. It's not going to be any 3 years.
He won't be able to do it until he has a successful, at least 70 plus game season.
I think
72, 73.
I think what Boogie did in Denver resonated enough for him to be full time back in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like he should be back there. Yeah. Blake has to show more. Blake has to show a lot fucking more. And I just don't think he can.
Boogie essentially is in the same position as Andre Drummond. Mm-hmm. Like he's your ideal backup center.
What do you think about the chances of Boogie?
Teams are gonna want him.
Boogie coming to our team.
I think the chances are kind of slim. I think as of right now, purely because of age, I think we're probably going to be more focused on bringing back Andre.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Boogie was drafted in 2010, and Andre Drummond was drafted in 2012. So I mean,
but also remember, Andre Drummond came out. He was younger. Like it was like 18, Jason Tatum. Yeah. It was like Jason Tatum. Like when Jason Tatum came out, he was like barely 19.
Yeah.
He was still one of the youngest people, probably the youngest in that draft class, at least in the top 5.
He turned 19 during the season.
Right. Yeah. I think Andre Drummond was the same way.
Yeah.
So I think Drummond's really like 3 or 4 years younger than DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. I think so too. Man, you wanna hop into some rumors?
Yes, absolutely.
Want to hop into some rumors off the top. I'm citing my sources. This is NBA Central. You have to cite your sources. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming up with these. I don't know anybody. Dude, this is the 3rd episode of a podcast. Like, don't think I know.
We don't have connections.
Not yet.
Yeah,
but we will.
Allen Iverson comes into the store every now and then, but we don't really,
Yeah, we don't really talk to him. I mean, Paul Reed comes into the store. Paul, man, he's a legend.
Yep.
He's a legend. Yep. Report. Detroit Pistons widely expected to trade Jeremy Grant. My question to you is, what is the best fit for Jeremy Grant?
The best fit for Jeremy Grant. The best fit is probably that's a good question. Because he's one of those players that can fit in. He can fit in a lot of different spaces.
Yes, sir.
But who needs him? Like really needs him?
I have a place.
I would say maybe Portland.
That's it. That's the one. Because they have the 7th pick.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, and they have cap space, so they could do Jeremy for 7 straight up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They clear cap space to do it. I don't know. Jeremy.
Portland, maybe even Chicago. Ooh. I don't know if Chicago has the cap space, but Chicago as well. Like because obviously, I think Patrick Williams is the future, but if for whatever reason, like you decide maybe his injury is maybe he comes back and he's not the same or whatever the case may be. I think Jeremy Grant can give you what Patrick Williams gives you.
If I'm Chicago, I'm not doing that for the simple fact
Not
that
I'm not trading. I'm not trading Patrick Williams for Jeremy Grant.
no, I'm saying like in a situation of just acquiring Jeremy Grant either way,
Oh,
any way
okay,
you
okay.
could, because Chicago has a ceiling. Like they have a ceiling, like a legit ceiling. Also another report is Zach LaVine is expected to re-sign with Chicago, so they have a ceiling. Zach LaVine is
Okay.
only going to get you so far. DeMar DeRozan is getting up in age, and Vucevic is already showing that he's starting to decline.
Okay.
Trading Patrick Williams does not make sense. Trading like
No, no, no. I don't say trade Patrick
no,
Williams.
I'm
I'm
saying
saying trading like Kobe White and maybe picks
okay.
for Jeremy Grant, not Patrick Williams. You don't trade Patrick
No,
Williams.
I'm saying like if I'm a team like Detroit and
Oh,
and and,
okay.
and the pick is not as good as the 7th pick that I would be getting from Portland, I would want something a young asset where it's like Kobe White is cool, but Kobe White is being shopped to everybody. Whereas though Patrick Williams, you don't want to trade Patrick Williams because I know what you know that he can blossom into like not a Kawhi, but like one of those 3 and D, one of them primary 3D stars. So
Yeah.
you know they probably gonna want Patrick Williams.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Um,
Uh but yeah, Portland's the best. Portland, maybe even Dallas. Uh
yes, actually that's actually a good fit.
um
Somebody who play defense, yeah.
yeah. Portland, Dallas. I mean maybe even Denver.
You think he
Aaron
goes
Gordon's
back?
doing
You think he goes
Aaron
back to
Gordon's
Denver?
doing Aaron Gordon is doing great in that role, but because Michael Porter Jr. is so injury prone, to have a lineup of Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, and Jeremy Grant would
Mm.
be a huge boost.
So this is my thing. Denver made a trade. They made the first trade of our off season. They
Mm,
traded Jermichael Green to Oklahoma to get the 30th pick. So now they
right.
have 22 and 30, and they're looking to get an established star. So maybe they do bring back Jeremy, but they're going to have to trade Aaron Gordon because they don't have that many players on contract
Yeah.
on a contract for next season. They could do a couple signer trades, but like still wasn't equal up to what Jerry's making. I think he's making 20.
20 million.
Yeah, 20 million, 24. It goes up to like 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to trade Aaron Gordon, which would benefit them. I mean, honestly, because Jeremy Grant is a better Aaron Gordon,
Right.
and the fact that he's not a great shooter, but he's way better than Aaron Gordon in the sense that Aaron Gordon, you can afford to leave Aaron Gordon open. Um,
Hmm.
so I mean they're acquiring the picks. They have 22 and 30 now.
Yeah.
With Aaron Gordon, I mean I think that's a pick that Detroit should look at definitely when you're a rebuilding team.
Yep. And even if they don't want to keep both picks, you could just use them to just move up a spot or
hmm
two.
And they've done great job drafting. I mean when
Yeah.
your franchise player was drafted in the second round, I think
Yeah.
you can say you do a pretty great job at drafting.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Next,
Um.
oh wait, you want to go ahead and say something?
No, I was gonna say it's tough because I don't know who they would move for him, but Sacramento.
Harrison Barnes. I'm not trading the 4th pick for Jeremy Grant.
No, no,
I
of course
feel I
not.
feel like 7th is
Harrison Barnes and what? Maybe Davion.
because like for the position. This is the reason I'm saying this. Portland wants to win, so trading a 7th pick for Jeremy Grant makes sense. Whereas though
Yeah.
Sacramento should not be looking to win because you're not. You're just not gonna win with the
Yeah.
deep
Yeah.
pieces you have that. And 4th, I think Sacramento should go in a rebuild. You saw it. You saw it go through. You probably want to give it a full season of them being together, but it's definitely a cap. There's definitely a cap. There's definitely a cap there, and
Hmm.
that cap is playing probably.
Yeah. I mean, they're in an interesting position because obviously the West is kind of like in a weird flux right now where the Lakers aren't good, Portland's kind of rebuilding, sort of retooling, I
Retooling,
guess.
yeah.
Golden State's great again. Houston's not really good. Like even the teams that are good are not that good.
Would you
Like
would you
like
say he could be on
Utah
the
is not that good.
would
Like
you trade a Jeremy Grant to Minnesota where they have some contracts
yeah,
that they could want to move, and Jeremy Grant would fit next to Cat because Cat's a shooter and Jeremy Grant could be a slasher.
right. That would be a great fit. And not only that, I mean, you would need somebody who can play off the ball regardless because you also have Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell on the team. So when Cat doesn't have the ball, you still have two fairly ball dominant guards.
Mm.
Anthony Edwards isn't really that ball dominant, but two guards that are best with the ball in their hands. They don't really move off the ball super well.
He should be. He's the best player on that fucking team.
He should be, yeah. He should
be.
be. If anything, if I'm Minnesota, I might look to trade Cat.
I would too. I said that first episode. I said they should look. And you said
I
that
think
there's an age gap. There's a big age gap between them two.
Yeah, and I think this is just me. I think if you're Minnesota and you see what's going on in Phoenix, Cat for DeAndre Ayton.
You get younger. You get younger.
Yeah, Cat for DeAndre Ayton and maybe a pick from Phoenix because do they still have their pick?
I'm not sure. I doubt it. Because they didn't traded damn near everything.
Yeah,
I think
but,
that's the trade. That's the pick that No, never mind. I was about to say that I think that's the pick that OKC had, but OKC had the 30th, and 30th normally goes to the team,
the best team.
Yeah.
So it might have been Phoenix's.
It might have been Phoenix's pick that Denver now has. So
yeah. So if I'm Minnesota, Cat for for DeAndre Ayton, I would think it is Phoenix's pick.
Yeah.
I would think about it. Maybe even a future first round pick.
I don't know how many.
If I'm Phoenix.
If
I'm Minnesota.
Did Phoenix trade a lot of picks in that Chris Paul deal? Because I know they traded Kelly Oubre. Some other. Oh no, it doesn't matter. But next topic. This topic hits home.
Okay.
It hits home 3 hours ago. It was reported by Keith Pompey. Keith Pompey is a widely known reporter in Philadelphia. Works for the Philadelphia Inquirer,
right?
Yes.
Yep.
The Philadelphia Sixers are gouging trade interest in Tobias Harris.
Did you say gouging?
Yeah, it says gouging.
Gauging.
Fuck you. I'm editing that shit out. The Philadelphia Sixers. It's like, no, come on, I'm not going to edit out. I'm editing that shit out. The Philadelphia 76ers are gouging. Are gauging trade interest in Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz for some reason, Danny Green, and the number 23 pick. That's everyone. That's everyone not named.
Pretty much. Everybody. It's everyone besides your big three.
Yeah. And Charles Bassey. So yay.
Yeah. And Paul Reed.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Joe.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Jaden Springer.
Yeah. It makes sense, right?
Can we try to make a trade for each of these people?
You could make a trade. Like, I would even argue you could package Furkan and Shake together and just get like second round picks. Just to cut salary, just to cut money. So that way, if you want, after you maybe trade Danny Green, you could actually go out and sign people. Because right now, the biggest issue I see is the bench. It's not Tobias. Tobias's contract is an issue, but so is James. But it's not really the money. It's or the players. Like, I really feel like our starting five is great. Besides Danny, Danny's the weakest link.
And I said this before. I don't know whether I said it on here or I said it when I was doing a live stream. We're gonna trade Tobias and immediately look for a power forward like Tobias.
Right.
Right. The only thing wrong with Tobias is his contract. I think he's the glue guy. He keeps the back room in check. He's the guy everybody goes to. So losing him is going to take a chemistry hit. It
Yeah.
is. Danny Green also became one of those guys. So,
Yeah.
so that's going to be a chemistry hit. So it's also kind of if you're keeping Doc Rivers because you want continuity or whatever the fuck it is, then you should probably to trade it to Tobias should be your last option, but it also has to be one of the first ones because if you could trade Tobias and turn Tobias into like kind of what they did with Porzingis, where you get two players back, and for that one contract, then you probably have to do that because the contract.
The only reason why I'm hesitant to do that is because if we get two players back, right, and the money equals out, that means we still can't sign anybody. So if those two players that we get back are not a power, neither one is a power forward, then we're still in a hole because now we have to move somebody like George Niang or Paul Reed up to the starting power forward position. And the two players that we got back are probably going to be coming off the bench because if they're guards, nobody's starting over Tyrese and James. At least nobody I see that we can get in a trade for Tobias.
How can I put this? I think that if you're trading Tobias, you're automatically the mindset is to get somebody in to replace him. I think if you trade Tobias, like the for two people are for certain to be gone, and that's Furkan Korkmaz and Danny Green. They are for certain to be gone.
Yeah, you got to move Danny.
You got to move Danny.
Danny is the one must trade
He's the
player
one
on the
must
team
trade.
to me.
I think Furkan is also because he makes $5 million. So you got
Yeah,
that's what $15 million right there that
yeah,
you have that I know is out the door.
yeah,
Furkan might be a dump off. Give me a second round pick. You take Furkan.
yep.
Type shit. Trade him OKC. Trade
OKC,
him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
yep.
Oh, everything. Every fucking trade can involve OKC.
OKC,
Um,
yeah.
Matisse
You take
Thybulle.
this 5 million, we'll take a second round pick.
I said this
We don't even
before.
need a first.
I said this before. I would love a Kobe White because Kobe White is a six man. Like he's a
Mm-hmm.
legit bucket getter. I like that. Chicago. It's crazy how Chicago fans talk about Kobe White like we talk about Matisse Thybulle. Whereas
Yeah,
like it was cool in the beginning, now it's like, bro, show us something different. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Where we'll take it because he fits what we need, and they'll take Matisse because he fits what they need. Defense is definitely a problem from them, especially in the
Yeah,
interior because Vucevic is not good. He's a
yeah,
big body. He's just a
yeah.
big body. So I will take Kobe every day of the week. So
The
y'all want to
only
make this
reason
trade?
the only reason I'm a little against trading Matisse is because perimeter defense. If we lose Matisse and Danny, we have those are our two best perimeter defenders
But
gone.
like my thought process is like there's going to be something else because you could trade
There
Matisse.
probably is, but I just don't know what.
You could trade Matisse and then sign Gary Harris for a mid-level exception, and now you have a
Yeah,
Matisse-like guy where his
who
defense
can
isn't
shoot?
doesn't it's not as loud as Matisse, but he plays defense. It's more like a Drew Holiday where it goes unnoticed. It goes
Yeah,
unnoticed, but the players around the league knows they can play defense. And Gary Harris is a better shooter. He shot 40% from three last year, although it was with the Magic, but it doesn't matter. We'll take that over Matisse shooting 31%. So
yeah,
there are ways to go about it. I think every move comes with a counter move. So that's why I
right.
kind of look at it with just that trade on my mind versus the background.
Yeah,
Um,
when I think about trading Matisse, I think about we have to get a shooter. Like
yeah.
we have to get somebody who can be a key bench piece. If we trade Tobias, we need at least two starting caliber role players in return.
Mm.
Preferably a power forward and a small forward.
But where
Like
we
two people who can just step right into those positions, which are now or in this situation would be vacant.
who would have that though? Who has I mean, Utah. You could go, hey, trade Matisse and Tobias, and Danny's contract for Bogdanovich and Jordan Clarkson. But it's like, does Utah really want to trade Jordan Clarkson? Even though Bogdanovich is older than Tobias, you would get back a younger version of that. But
I'll tell you right now, I don't think Utah wants to trade Jordan Clarkson if they end up having to move Donovan Mitchell
oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Um,
because that's still up in the air. They're not. I don't think they're doing anything until they get that figured out.
mhm. I think
That the Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert situation, I think, takes priority in Utah. Until then, they're not doing anything. Because if they lose Donovan Mitchell, I think they blow it up.
yeah, I think they're going to trade Rudy before they would trade Donovan. I think
But if Donovan requests a trade, like if he straight up says trade me, I think they blow it up.
I think
If he says can you move Gobert, they'll move Gobert.
Mhm.
But if he says it's just not gonna work, they trade both of them.
but the reason I think Rudy Gobert gets moved this year, I think that he's going to get traded this year, is because of that reason alone. He's just way better. He's way better. Donovan Mitchell is way better than Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert goes to another team and he's overpaid. I think he's overpaid now, but he goes to another
exactly.
He goes to another team and is like glaringly overpaid. A team that was interested in him, actually, this is also our next rumor, is the Atlanta Hawks, and they could throw in. Let me go down to it. That it was like
Capella.
Capella, John Collins, not all of them together, but like a combination of them. Capella, they have like the 16th pick, if I remember. Herder, they're not trading Hunter. They're not trading Young, of course. They're not
16th. Yep.
Yeah. So they're not doing trading any of those things. It's more so the John Collins who they re-signed after he wanted to leave last year. So you probably should have saw this coming. But Rudy Gobert, this is the thing I want to say for the Atlanta Hawks. Rudy Gobert complained about Donovan Mitchell not playing defense. You think he's not going to say some shit about Trae Young?
Right.
Who's like
at least Trae Young has the excuse sort of being really undersized.
Trae Young, it is one thing to be undersized. There's another thing to let people just walk past you. Like Trae Young's defense is like,
but at the same time, Trae's a better facilitator too. Like
I
think Trae would get Gobert more involved than Donovan does.
Now this is one of the things I've seen Muggsy Bogues play more defense than Trae Young. This is the thing.
Did he score like Trae Young?
He did not. He did not.
That's kind of the theme, like with a lot of players, is that unless you're in amazing shape, you're not doing it on both ends. There's only certain players in the league, especially guards, who have been able to be lockdown defenders and tremendous scorers at the same time. Jimmy Butler, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan,
LeBron James when he wants to.
Well, he's not a guard.
Oh, a guard. Okay, my fault. Gary Payton in his younger years.
Right.
He wasn't a great scorer, but he,
people who are guarding like your primary ball handler.
Kawhi.
Kawhi.
Paul George.
Kawhi is not a guard either.
Oh, damn. Paul George is classified as a guard because he plays shooting guard.
Yeah, because he's with Kawhi.
Yeah. Guards. That's John Stockton was a scorer.
He was Steve Nash, not a defender. Jason Kidd, not really a scorer. He's more of a facilitator. Chris Paul, but even then, like his defense isn't what it once was. You could maybe chalk that up to age.
Yeah, most definitely chalk it up to age.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot. Like for the most part, you need to have pretty good size or be in amazing shape.
Okay. When I go,
but yeah, I don't. When we talk, to get back on subject, when we talk about what we get in return for Tobias, there's really not that many options out there, except maybe teams that have younger players that aren't on super like big contracts that maybe are a little bit slept on, but at the same time, those teams aren't looking for a Tobias Harris, not at $33 million a year.
If we're
like Detroit, like I would gladly give Detroit Tobias Harris and Shake for. I would give Detroit Tobias Harris, Shake Milton, and maybe even I would give them Tobias, Matisse, and the 23rd pick for Jeremy Grant and Sadiq Bey. But they won't do that.
You know what's crazy? We were offered that for Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I know.
Sadiq Bey, who then dropped 50.
Yeah. Yeah. Immediately.
Didn't drop 50.
And I was like, but you know what's crazy? We were supposed to draft him. Remember?
Yeah. I remember
We were
that.
supposed to draft him, and what did we do? We traded back, right?
What
I
year
think
was that? What year was that?
Sadiq.
What draft?
Uh,
What draft? Who's the first pick in that draft?
uh, was it Zion?
Was Sadiq and Zion's draft?
Let
Was
me
that
see.
2018? Because I don't.
2020.
He was drafted in 2020.
Yep.
What pick? What pick was he?
He was 19. So I think drafted in 2020,
2020.
pick 19. Yeah, because remember 2019 or no, 2020, we were like the 6th seed.
2020. What did we do with our pick?
I think we traded it. We traded back.
2020. What Matisse was drafted in 2018 because this is going to be his 4th year.
Yeah. But I
Drafted
remember
after that was Tyrese. Tyrese was 2019 or 2020. Had to be 2020.
yeah, we had the 21st pick. We drafted Tyrese.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we won that.
I do too.
I mean,
do too.
if anything is equal.
Sure.
I think
I would say that.
Tyrese is a better player, but I think Sadiq fits the NBA more. I think as a player that you could just put in the corner.
I think the reason why, but it wasn't that we traded back. The Pistons traded up.
Okay.
Because the Nets actually drafted Sadiq Bey, and they traded to get him. He was supposed to fall to us.
You know who
he ended up not falling.
Was it the Lakers? Did the Lakers draft him, or was it the Nets? Desmond Bain was drafted either by the Nets or the Lakers. I forget which one. And whoever traded him, they fucking failed. They failed.
I know.
I mean, and like we're not saying that as disrespect because we traded for Markelle Fultz when we could have had Jason Tatum, who's in the finals.
Yeah,
right now.
we're not judging.
We're not judging. We're just saying we all make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah. We're just recognizing someone else who's made the same mistake.
We just make more mistakes than everybody fucking else.
Well, like. I don't even know if I would say we made more mistakes. We've had more chances to make a mistake.
Yeah, we did.
Because we've had us and Phoenix. Phoenix probably has more to show for it because they've been to the finals at least, and they're terrible. The best team in the league this year. But I mean, we've had our moments where we were number one in the East. We were like, us and Phoenix and Sacramento have probably had the most chances to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoenix has gotten what?
Would you say
three players that they've drafted or traded for out of it? DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and Mikal Bridges.
Would you say that? Who would you say is more successful? Us who've constantly made it to the playoffs since 2018, or Phoenix who made the playoffs twice but haven't made it to the finals?
It's tough because I would say
I would go Phoenix.
Here's the thing: if we're talking drafting, I would say us.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, as we already know, managing a team is more than just drafting. Mm-hmm. You have to also make the right trades, and making that Chris Paul trade is what put Phoenix ahead of us.
They showed life in the bubble because they went undefeated in the bubble. They went undefeated.
They did. They definitely did. But if Chris Paul wasn't there, we know that they wouldn't even be second round of the playoffs anymore. Because who would be their point guard? Cameron Payne?
Cameron Payne didn't come back to the league till like a year after that.
Right. You still
Alfred
have
Payton?
the same issues. Alfred Payton.
Oh, Ricky Rubio was there.
Yeah.
The point guard. The true point guard.
Okay. Who's what? Coming off the bench behind Darius Garland right now?
No.
Or did they sent him back to Minnesota, didn't they?
No, he went back to Utah, traded him back to Minnesota, and then Minnesota, I think
he's in Phoenix.
No, he's not.
I mean, he's in Cleveland.
No, he's not.
He's not?
No, he's with the Pacers. They traded him his contract because he tore his ACL for Karis LeVert.
Pacers? Oh yes, yeah, yeah. He was in Cleveland. You're right.
Yeah,
Cleveland
because
traded him for Karis
he
LeVert.
was one of the reasons for the hot ass start. He
Yeah.
legit was one of the reasons. Like they were talking about Ricky Rubio in the conversations for All
hmm
Star.
See, but this goes back to my point why I was saying being a GM is more than just drafting because remember, like there was another decision that Phoenix made that also was part of the reason why they showed life in the bubble, hiring Monty Williams.
Mm-hmm. A Sixers assistant coach.
Exactly. Yeah. And Ime Udoka.
A
We're not
Sixers
gonna forget that
assistant
either.
coach.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're not going to forget next rumor that Sam Cassell is being interviewed for the Utah Jazz job. If Sam Cassell gets over there to Utah and make the Western Conference Finals or the Finals, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
And I love Sam. Sam has been the main one working with Tyrese,
I
and you
think
can see it.
I said this. I don't know if I said it last episode or the episode before that. I said Sam Cassell should get promoted to head coach. You should
Yeah.
you should drop Doc Rivers and give it to Sam Cassell. Come on, man. It's like we've went through this before. Like we've went through this before, bro. We had Mike D'Antoni sitting on the bench. We had associates head coach. What if anytime you have to hire a head coach to sit next to a head coach and literally babysit this fucking head coach, you should then fire that head coach.
It was the same with Brett Brown. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Brett Brown should not have. If you had to hire McDaniel to be an associate head coach,
yep. Which did like you just created a position,
right? I mean,
instead of just firing him.
Somebody. I think I don't know if it's Memphis or it's somewhere else. Somebody just got a promoted to associate head coach recently. Like
I don't know why they would do
ago.
that in Memphis.
Taylor Jenkins just re-signed a contract. I don't know if it was Memphis, but I know it's like one of those teams. It's one of those.
Or Houston, maybe.
Probably.
Like Houston has they have a first-year head coach, so I don't know why they would do that already.
Right. You just basically showing him that you ain't got no faith in him. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be like if they drafted. That would be like if the Eagles drafted a quarterback this year. It's like, bro, you gave Jalen Hurts 1 year. It's like,
yeah, bro, it wasn't enough for me. I mean,
yeah.
that's what the Kings do.
That is what the Kings do. Damn, that is what the Kings do. Which is another reason why I would say, but see, and that goes, the Kings are the opposite. I would say the Kings are the opposite. Because just like how Phoenix has made good decisions outside of drafting, the Kings have made pretty good draft decisions. They've just done everything else terribly. Like De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Davion Mitchell. Recently, yeah. But it's like they've just
Nick Stauskas, Derek Williams.
True.
Willie Cauley-Stein.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, this is also part of management, player development. Like how much player development is actually happening in Sacramento? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if Marvin Bagley in Indiana, if he gets a full year in Indiana,
Pistons, Detroit.
I mean Detroit, yeah. If he gets a full year in Detroit, healthy, and he looks like how people thought he would coming out of college, whose fault is that? It has to be Sacramento's. Because you had this man on your team for what, 2 years, and you barely played him.
We could say that the same thing about us with Christian Wood.
Yeah, but we had Joel.
Joel did not play the year that Christian Wood did. We had Christian Wood for 2 years.
I thought, but Joel was on the team though. I thought
Joel was on the team, but Joel was injured. He was out the first time. Yeah. It was Joel the year before Joel's first year, and then Joel's first year.
Yeah, but once Joel came, you knew.
Yeah,
like you knew it's like, all right, Christian's gone. Whereas Sacramento has literally like they got somebody to replace Marvin back. They got an upgrade. They got Domantas Sabonis. But prior to that, they showed no signs whatsoever of trying to develop him at all.
They had Luke Welton.
Even
the Brett Brown
somebody,
coach.
Even somebody like
Alvin Gentry.
No. I was gonna say even somebody like what is his name? Was part of the Indiana trade. Not
Jalen
Tyrese.
Smith
No,
from Phoenix.
the shooter, Buddy Hield.
Oh, better yeah.
Even Buddy was barely developed, but they gave him all that money.
I think more so that Buddy could shoot, so it's like
But they
you know
never. But remember, when Buddy was in college, he did more than just shoot.
he was a scorer, yeah.
Like Buddy's still
In Oklahoma, yeah.
Buddy for a shooting guard has like pretty good size. Like he's got like there's no reason why Buddy isn't doing what Donovan Mitchell can do. Like that was what Donovan Mitchell does in the NBA is what Buddy Hield did in college. So instead of nurturing that, you were just like, all right, you're just gonna pretty much be a shooter.
Yeah. I mean, you know what his draft day comparison was?
D Wade, wasn't it? Who was it?
It was Steph fucking Curry, bro.
Yep.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like,
That's right because Buddy Hield was the second after the because you know every time there's like an amazing player, when players start coming out of college, they start comparing
every
to
year.
this guy. The Steph Curry era of like comparisons has I probably started with D'Angelo Russell, then Buddy, then Trey.
Trey's the closest.
Trey's the closest we've gotten so far. So certainly.
I want to talk about Trae Young for a second. Because me and Raheem had gotten this kind of an argument. Because I said Seth Curry, not Steph. Seth Curry is a better shooter than Trae Young, right? And I'm like, Seth Curry he just is a better shooter. I see Trae Young more of a Chris Paul, where he's a Chris Paul in the modern era, where he can make that shot, but he shouldn't be taking it as much as he do because the percentages does not say he's a great shooter.
Okay.
So
the way that I would put it is like the difference between Seth and Trey is a lot like the difference between Steph and Clay. Where you could argue Klay Thompson is a better shooter than Steph. However, the reason why Steph, like just not a better shooter, meaning like if it's 5 seconds left in the game and you want to give the ball to somebody, you're going to give it to Klay. I don't mean like that. I mean, just if you put both of them on the 3-point line and had them put up 100 shots, the only person in the league who could probably beat Steph is Klay.
Yes, that's true.
But when we're talking about different types of shots, off the dribble, from deep, like just crazy ass shots, Steph is the one you want taking those shots. Right. When you're talking about Seth and Trey, Seth shoots a higher percentage, but some of the shots that Trey hits, I don't think you want Seth taking those shots.
Right.
Same thing with Klay. I don't think you want Klay taking some of the shots that Steph takes.
So, like, literally, like, my point was, if I need a 3 to be hit, I'm taking Seth Curry.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, take away the playmaking, take away the shit, because like, everybody want to, he draws people in so he can kick shit out. No, I mean, like, a shooter.
Yeah. Like,
Seth
catch
Curry,
and shoot. Yeah, like, catch and shoot.
Seth Curry is I would trust way more than Trae Young. Now he's not put in a position where he's a star. Where it's like, okay, I could take this shot. All right, I could take this shot. He's more of a role player where I get in where I fit in. But like, if I need a 3, I'm going Seth Curry rather than Trae Young.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. But the difference is, if I want somebody who can handle the ball, facilitate, and shoot threes. Like if I'm looking for a point guard, I would take Trey over Seth.
Yeah, no.
I'm looking for somebody who's just going to knock down threes, I would take Seth over.
Yeah,
Trey.
I'm not comparing them by any means player. I'm comparing their shooting ability because I like one of the points I bring up is that Trey shoots 35-36% from 3.
And that's the thing. But see, this is the thing though. This is what I think is really the differentiating factor. It's the type of shots. Also, the type of shots that Trey shoots are just different from the type of shots that Seth shoots. They play a different game.
Would you say that they're stupid shots?
Seth or Trey?
Trey. You said the type of shots that he takes.
Sometimes, absolutely. Sometimes some of the shots Steph takes are stupid, but he's Steph, so because you've seen him hit it before.
Mhm.
So it's like it's same thing with Dame. Like when Paul George said to Dame, "That's a bad shot." Like that wasn't necessarily false, but it's Dame. So it's like if anybody's gonna take it, it's him.
Because
So it's like,
Dame did a commercial where he was I think it was a Hulu commercial, and it was like, yeah, you shot it from right there, and he's
yeah,
like,
he was like, "This is far."
this is this
Yeah, I
far.
remember that. He was like, "Was it this far?"
He was like, maybe it was a bad shot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's
um,
like, but at the same time, there's just certain players who you're okay with doing that
see,
because you've seen them hit it before.
when I simplify the
But
argue,
if you put Trey in Seth's position where he pretty much was shooting just catch and shoot threes, coming off of curls, coming off of screens, pin down, like whatever, I think his percentage will go up. It probably wouldn't be as high as Seth's, just because Seth is a little bit
I
like bigger and he's been doing that his whole career. But I think part of Trey Young's percentage is because of the shots that he takes. Like if Clay shot a higher 3-point percentage than Steph, I wouldn't be surprised.
the thing is that I don't. It's not that I'm saying he can't be a better shooter than what he is, or a better shooter, you know, compared to him. I'm just saying, like, when you look at it, it's just like Seth is there. Like Seth
Yeah.
is a shooter. Like he's legit a shooter. I think of Trey more like how I think of Chris Paul, where it's like you're a scorer. I don't think of you as a shooter.
Mhm.
So when my thing is when you taking these logo threes, yes, you can make them, but it's not a fucking smart shot for you because that's you don't shoot a high clip from on the line. So why the fuck are you shooting from
I
on the
mean,
logo?
my only argument would be that it's not a smart shot for anybody, really.
Mhm.
So it's like if Seth does it, I don't see him shooting a higher. I don't. If Seth shot the shots that Trey shoots, I would actually see Seth having a lower field goal percentage than Trey does.
And I'm talking about somebody who averaged 28 points the last year. So it's not like I'm
Yeah.
downgrading him as a player. I don't want to think Atlanta Hawks fans to make me seem like the bad guy, but I'm just saying like he could put y'all in better situations if he took shots where it was more so suitable for him.
Yeah.
Like cuz like it was a couple games in that Miami Heat series where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you taking a
Yeah.
logo 3 when you haven't made 7 already? Why is the next attempt a logo 3? I understand that it's confidence. He lives off confidence. You know, the New York shit.
But also,
He feeds into that shit.
there's also the issue of taking what the defense gives you. Like if Trey's the focal point of that offense, so he's obviously he's the focal point of the opposing team's defense.
Yes.
So it's like their everything is centered around stopping Trey Young. Seth doesn't really have that problem because usually Seth is on the court with other great scorers, so he gets more open shots. He gets like the better defensive matchup. Like if we're playing Miami, like imagine if this is the beginning of the season and we're playing Miami. Jimmy Butler's not guarding Seth.
Right.
He's probably guarding either Tyrese or James
Unless Seth
or
starts going fucking crazy. Then that's
exactly.
when
Then
he
he'll
gets the
switch.
Yeah.
Then he'll switch, and then Seth will stop.
Okay.
Like, all that shit stops. Whereas with Trey Young, it's like you got the best defenders on you from tip, so it's like you can't you don't get the same separation, you don't get the same freedom. So a lot of times he might see a logo 3 as his best opportunity because that's when he's just the most open, even though
And
it's still a stupid shot.
my argument against that is that he's an elite playmaker. So why
But
settle for something? Why are you taking what the defense is giving you when you could create a better shot for someone else?
because he's still the primary scorer on that team, so even if he gets others going, it's not gonna make up for the loss of his offense. If you cut Trey Young's points in half, they're not winning any games.
Yes.
It's like Allen Iverson. Like Allen Iverson scored as much as he did because he had to.
Mm.
And if he didn't, they couldn't win. But, with Trey, it's like if you look at the rest of that team, who else on that team is going to give you 30 plus points on any given night?
Not on any given night. I mean, John Collins could chip in here and there, but not on any given night. You're right. I understand that from that perspective.
So that's why when it comes to shooting, it's hard to gauge unless we're talking about set shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would argue 100% that Seth is a better shooter than Robert Covington because they play the same role and Seth is just better at it. I would say he's a better shooter than Gary Harris or like most any other like shooter, like Duncan Robinson or you know what I mean, like guys who play that same role. I would say Seth is one of the best in the league right now, if not the best. Whereas guys like Trey, there's really not too many of them to compare, and I don't think it's fair to compare him to somebody who's just a shooter.
Yeah. Um. No, that's more so my argument. I was like, Seth is a shooter. Like you
Yeah,
sign.
that's his job.
Yeah. Like you know what I'm saying. Like you pay Trey to do so much, but scoring and facilitating are kind of I want to say equal for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas
But
though
that's his position.
Seth is the shooter. Like
Yeah,
you bring him on not to fucking play make. He can occasionally, but you bring him on to fucking shoot. Like it's
yeah.
you know what I mean. And
He's
like
one of those players that coaches tell, like, when the ball hits your hands, I want you to shoot it. I don't want
don't
you to
think about
drive
that
and
shit.
kick. I don't want you to drive and kick. I don't want you to try to make a play. Like the play is designed for the ball to go up when you catch it. That's the kind of player Seth is. That's the kind of player Clay is. That's why Clay scores as much as he does without taking any dribbles.
Dude scored 60 points, dribbled the
On
ball
11
11 times.
dribbles.
11 times, bro.
11 fucking dribbles. That's a number no basketball fan can ever forget.
Never.
60 points, 11 dribbles.
No, another
That's incredible.
another
And then
stat.
a 30-point half, I mean a 30-point quarter,
37.
37, 37.
37
Right.
point third quarter.
So it's like that's part of why I'm saying, like, by that same logic, you could technically say Clay is a better shooter than Steph. But again, it comes down to the type of shots. Like Clay gets as many shots as he does because of Steph.
So we mentioned what the Sixers should do in this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? How could I put this? Do you think they're actually going to do the shit that we think they should do?
No, they never do. They never do. And it's tough because I guess I'm entering a era in my life as a sports fan where I'm starting to become a lot more understanding to ownership.
Mm.
Because ownership, whether it's a single owner or ownership group or whatever, they're in a pretty tough spot because everything is about timing. If you make a move too soon, you fuck up your organization for years. If you make a move too late, you fuck up your organization for years.
Right. That's why I think
If you
Portland is a very sticky
literally
situation.
everything hinges on the decisions that the ownership makes. So when we talk about like Daryl Morey or Doc Rivers or Elton Brand, like whatever, like anybody that's been hired or fired, at the end of the day, ownership are the ones who did it. Like they're the ones who hired Daryl Morey.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who hired Elton Brand. They're the ones who okayed Doc Rivers. Like, so you kind of think sometimes like, how does this happen? Like, how do we end up with a coach and GM that just got fired from other positions, and we think they're the saviors of our franchise? Now, granted, they're better than what we had before, but at the same time, it's like, how come we can't, like, Daryl, as good as Daryl Morey is, he's definitely somebody who, and I would say the same thing about Brand. He's definitely a little fixated on the name.
Yeah,
Like we
star
talked
hungry.
about that before.
Remember
Yeah,
they
star
had
hunting.
the star hunting thing. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
The star hunting. We're star
So,
hunting.
whereas like you look at teams like Golden State or Boston, or where they just try to build good teams around the one or two stars that they already have, and you wonder like, damn, how come we can never just do that? And then it kind of occurred to me that, you know what, good GMs don't get fired.
They step down.
Like, they step down when they feel like it, but they just don't. They're just not available. Good coaches don't get fired. like if they do, it's because something else is wrong and the coach just took the fall for it.
or it's
Like Monty Williams is a good coach.
or
The
there
fact
was
that he was available was just lucky for Phoenix.
no point of that coach being in that situation, so that coach wanted to leave. Because I mean,
Exactly.
Doc Rivers, you could say, but Doc Rivers, when Boston was trying to rebuild,
Yeah.
Doc Rivers wanted out because I'm not a rebuilding type of coach,
Right. Right.
but you should be.
Where then he went to the Clippers and went through like 2 rebuilds already.
Yeah. So it's
So
yeah.
like when I think about some of the best and most consistent organizations in the league, their GMs have been there for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Like their coaches have been there for a while.
San Antonio.
Miami, San Antonio, Golden State. Like they've had this Milwaukee. Milwaukee's had the same GM for years.
They just no, their old GM, that the one that drafted Giannis,
Uh-huh.
is in Orlando.
Really?
He drafted Jonathan Isaac because Giannis.
Well, yeah. But I thought they still had the same guy from
They might have the same like basketball operation guy, but I know their
oh,
GM
okay, okay.
is a
But yeah, like every now and then some teams kind of get lucky, like Boston, when they lost or when Doc Rivers left and they got Brad Stevens.
they got lucky.
Yeah, like that was pretty lucky. Toronto, when they fired I forget his name.
Dwayne Casey.
Dwayne Casey, yeah, who they fired him the year he won Coach of the Year. And they just so happened to get Nick Nurse right after. Like that's lucky. You know what I mean? Like you could say Masai Ujiri, he maybe has some foresight on that one. Same thing with the trade, the DeMar DeRozan trade.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could say that that's kind of lucky. The fact that was Kawhi's only healthy year for like the past 6 years.
Man showed up and left.
Right. The fact that the 1 year they had Kawhi was the 1 year he was healthy, like for a full year. And like the past 6 or 7 years, like since 2018. So it's like,
yeah,
when he landed on Zaza.
Yeah, that was 2018. That was that Spurs run. Yeah.
So it's like, some organizations do kind of just get lucky, but then there are some that are just like super consistent. I think Miami, San Antonio, and Golden State are the best examples. Like Bob Myers has been there for forever.
Zaza ended the Spurs dynasty.
He did.
Because then he got injured, and then what's his name?
Tim Duncan retired.
Yeah, Tim Duncan retired. Kawhi. They tried to make Kawhi come back before he felt like he was ready. So then he had a falling out with them. So I going back to our Sixers, our beautiful, distraught pieces of shit. I made the Sixers perfect offseason, right?
Okay.
And is it the perfect offseason? You'll be the judge. Obviously, you can't see it because I can't put the thing on there because it doesn't show for me what I'm showing. It's very stupid. So I'm gonna see if I could bring this down here, and then I can show at least I can show them through this. Sorry, boom. It's not doing it.
Just answer this one question for me before you start.
Yes.
In this perfect offseason, do we start the 2022-2023 season with Tobias Harris on the roster?
No, we do not. We have somebody to fill his spot. Somebody so capable to fill his spot. Let me get this back. So I'm gonna start off with the little ones before I start working my way to the big ones. I traded Jaden Springer, 2 second-round picks to Detroit for Corey Joseph.
Yeah.
I'm big on Corey Joseph. You
told me this before.
This is not the same one. This is not the same one. I'm just big on Corey Joseph. We need a backup point guard. He does his thing. He can still shoot. He shot 40% last year. Then I proceeded to trade Paul Reed, Danny Green, and a second-round pick to Orlando for Terrence Ross.
Okay.
The big one,
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How much money is Terrence Ross making?
$11 million. Paul Reed and Danny Green equal up to $11 million.
Okay.
11.7 if we want to be technical.
I'm just trying to think if Orlando would do that.
I probably would have to add another second round pick in there.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
I think I should
because
take.
the thing is, if Danny Green's not really gonna play, second round picks are cool. But if you look at Orlando's situation, you're sending them Paul Reed, who's like a power forward / center, and their best players are not their best players, but they're really deep at that position. Plus, everybody knows. I think everybody knows that the number one pick is going to be Chet Holmgren.
They're not deep at their center position because every center that they have is a free agent.
Really, Mo Bamba?
Mo Bamba's a free agent.
Oh, okay.
They didn't extend him.
Okay.
Wendell Carter is a power forward.
Okay.
Mo Wagner, free agent. Everybody else free agent, yes.
Okay.
So Paul Reed, who can play for.
So they would draft Chet and then have Paul Reed, I guess, as the backup.
Yeah, and they're young. Okay. I guess I would take one of the second round picks from Pistons because Jaden Springer is a young talent. Second round pick, give 2 second round picks to Magic. This is the big one that I think is under. I'll also signed Gary Harris to a 2-year, $16 million deal.
Yeah, that sounds good.
This is the one that that it's probably unrealistic, but like it's in my mind, so fuck it. I traded Furkan Korkmaz, Shake Milton, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, a 2026 first round pick, our 2020 pick, 2022 pick, which is the 23rd pick this year, for OG Anunoby and Gary Trent Jr.
Ooh,
because OG can play power forward.
Okay.
Him and Tobias are built the same. OG's a better shooter.
Well, Tobias is taller though, right?
Tobias is an inch taller.
Oh, right.
OG is 6'7", Tobias is 6'8".
Tobias is 6'9".
Tobias is 6'8". Tobias,
really?
when they measured him, he was 6'7.7" something.
Okay.
And then in shoes, they did the measurements without shoes. He was 6'7". Gary Trent, who's a shooter, who we know can get fucking hot. He kept Toronto, like when they made that comeback, Toronto, it was Gary Trent. It was Gary Trent hitting timely shots. Gary Trent plays defense. Gary Trent could play small forward. So now you have small forward who's 6'5", which Danny was 6'5", 6'6". Doesn't play I think he actually plays the same amount of defense as Danny. And I think that the fact that he's 23, that's why I threw everything in there. Because these two are very young. Yeah. And they're on contract. OG is on contract for the next 3 years, $17.3 million. Not the next 3 years, $17.3 million annually every year. Gary Trent basically the same thing over the next 2 years. You literally slide them into your starting lineup. OG replaces Tobias, that bucket getter, who's a better 3-point shooter. Gary Trent replaces Danny Green, who's out anyway. Gary Trent, like we said, sets that bitch on fire, and he wasn't even open some of the fucking times. Playing with Joel Embiid, having OG and Gary there is going to be big. And then off the bench, we now have Terrence Ross to be our sixth man.
And Corey Joseph.
Corey Joseph to fill out the backup point guard need, which we really need. Obviously, this is in my perfect world. Some of the shit, I don't think Toronto does that trade. I just don't think they do that trade. But this is my perfect world, so fuck it. In my perfect world, we win a championship every year.
And
Gary Harris.
Andrew Drummond.
I did. I actually,
Gary Harris.
I actually gave the nod to you know who. I gave it to him.
Paul's nasty, of course.
I gave it to him. So our bench unit would be Corey Joseph, Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, George Niang, Charles Bassey. All shooters. Terrence Ross could get off. Corey Joseph is a good playmaker. Also could shoot. I think in the playoffs you could run damn near anybody with them because the rotation gets shorter. You put your starters, one of the starters in there or two of the starters in there. Tyrese Maxey could run with that second unit as well, where he could get to the paint, drive, kick, do a lot of things there. So this is my perfect Sixers offseason. What do you think?
I like it.
What do you think?
I like it. I think it's good. I think the only thing that concerns me is defense and size
Where?
in the starting lineup.
OG plays defense. Gary plays defense.
They do.
Joel
They
plays
do.
defense.
But would you say that OG is as good of an on-ball defender as Tobias?
I think he's a better on defender than Tobias.
Okay.
OG
Because I'm judging based off of what we just saw Tobias do against Pascal and Precious.
You can say that.
Because now obviously OG practices against Pascal, but at the same time it's like we need bodies to throw at Pascal, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons if he comes back.
OG's that guy.
Okay.
OG's that guy. And then off the bench you will have Gary Harris, who's not.
Yeah.
He's
a perimeter. He's more of a guard. He defends guards.
Yeah. So
I would say I like it. I would just prefer maybe a little bit more size. But I felt the same way about the Sixers before.
I mean,
I didn't really
Tyrese
like the
Maxey
idea of
and Seth
having
Curry in the starting lineup.
Yeah. And Danny, like having Danny at 6'5" as your starting small forward when you got guys like Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant and Jaylen Brown and like a bunch of 6'7", 6'8" dudes.
But if you look what Golden State is doing, obviously you go Andrew Wiggins is 6'7", but you also have points where Gary Payton is on him and doing a good job.
Of course. But at the same time, Gary Payton is way more athletic than Danny Green. So he makes up for it.
I'm talking about comparing him to a Gary Trent, where it's like,
oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying you still need one. You still need at least a couple, because like Golden State has Andrew and Draymond and Iguodala
and
like
Otto Porter.
Like you usually want a couple.
Corey Joseph
6'7" to 6'10",
yeah,
like between like in that range. Just bodies, just to throw at guys, like just as options. Because at the end of the day, if Kevin Durant is cooking OG, you don't want to replace him with Gary Harris, or Terrence Ross. You know what I mean? Like you want more bodies around the same sort of, long, athletic, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Just to be on the safe side. I'm not saying it's it's going to be what kills us, but I'm saying like typically if you look at the teams that have been the most successful, it's the ones that have like those 6'8", 6'9" forwards that can just go out and just guard anybody.
So when you do trade machine, you can post it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did.
Why'd you do that?
That Raptors fan 17 says Raps pass.
Yeah. Anytime, that's why I don't post them, because there's all you get is negative feedback. Because obviously everybody thinks
I got some actually good ones. I have one from Toronto. I have one from a fellow Sixer fan.
Okay.
And then I have one from a Detroit fan.
Okay.
The Sixer fan says take out Toby. Toronto would probably consider him a neutral to negative value on that contract. Anyway, we still need a power forward. Is this you? Did you respond to this trade?
No, I didn't. Green, but it sounds like somebody thinks the same thing as me.
Send Green to Toronto. Get rid of the Magic Piston trades so that the salaries still match. Why would I trade? Somebody responded to him because I don't get the last part. The first part I can understand. The last part, somebody says, "No, the Raptors don't even pick up the phone on this." Okay, damn, I'm trying my best.
Even phone. Jeez.
LOL, yeah, actually want to buy this. I'm just reading this shit, bro.
Don't even pick up the phone? Damn. I don't know if that's true.
Detroit is probably fine doing this, but it won't really make much impact for them. But it's not about impact. It's about a young asset that they would be getting back.
Yeah, the Detroit isn't in a position where they're really looking for a whole lot of impact right now. Like,
Right. Yeah, Jaden Springer would be better for them than a Corey Joseph. Definitely. Even if Jaden Springer doesn't turn out to be shit, it's just the fact that that he could possibly blossom to something. Corey Joseph already is what he is. Sean,
true,
are you
but
good?
that goes back to what we were saying before about franchises and player development.
Yeah.
Some of them are better at it than others.
Sean?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Do,
okay.
do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Um, do I have anything else I want to talk about? I guess. Oh yeah, we do have one thing. Remember, you said you shifted your eyes, your
Oh,
gaze about who you want
yes,
at 23.
yes, sir, yes, sir. I did this, and then we could probably wrap it up after this.
Okay.
Um, my eyes went from EJ Liddell to Wendell Moore out of Duke.
Okay.
6'5", 6'9" wingspan is Matisse with a 3-point shot. I don't know how he slips. I don't know what people are not seeing, but this man looks like a real deal. I've watched so much film on this. He looks legit, and they have him slotted to go actually past us. He has great defensive potential, and he hits threes at a 40% rate. That should be our guy.
I think part of the reason why it might be age,
Mm.
perhaps age, because he's a junior. But I mean, other than that, see, that's the thing. Like a lot of teams these days pass on players because of age, but that is at the same time, it's like you got guys like Donovan Mitchell, who were a little bit older coming out of the draft. But I would argue that the extra time in college kind of helped him.
Definitely.
But that's not the same for everybody. Like just like how I was praising Kentucky earlier for like their guys always coming out ready. At the same time, the Harrison twins, you know, who were like the heart and soul of those teams,
Yeah,
they
are
came out
all
very
off the
not
league.
ready.
I think
Yeah,
one is in Miami, but he doesn't play.
yeah. So it's like, I can see why some organizations might be a little hesitant on taking a player who's been in college for that long and their numbers don't show that they're like
Cool.
super dominant. Because at the same time, it's like, look at Tyler Hero. Like if you put Tyler Hero back on Kentucky's roster right now, he's easily the best player in college basketball. So it's like, you
Yeah.
gotta sometimes potential outweighs the production you
Sure.
get right now.
Yeah, you cut out a lot, but we kind of heard.
Because he is on paper, he's great. But the game, oh my bad. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear me?
you. I can hear you
You're
now.
frozen. Okay.
Yeah.
Can
He's
you
only
can still hear me? Your
yeah.
screen is frozen.
No, my screen's not. It's yours. That's going crazy.
I wonder if it's my Wi-Fi.
I don't
Nope.
know.
It says I have 4 bars.
All right, but
This could be.
and to conclude it all, Wendell Moore is a perfect fit piece for us because we don't care about age. We care about production. So if we do decide to keep the 23rd pick, I think it should be somebody who can produce automatically, come into the league, who's league ready, and I think Wendell Moore is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think he is.
That makes sense. I think I mean, and at the same time, it's the 23rd pick.
Yeah.
Like you're probably not getting a franchise cornerstone at 23.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you would just draft somebody who can come in and at least contribute right away.
And then if you wanted to trade Matisse, because Matisse has value, apparently people value Matisse more than we do because we've obviously gotten to watch him. Oh God, Sean's back. We've gotten to watch him, and and see where his liability is. And obviously, I think Matisse works better with a guy, a star who is on the perimeter more so than a star that's posting up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so his value might be better there than here. So it might be a
Like
win-win trade.
like Roberson, like
Yeah,
Andre Roberson when he
I,
was in OKC.
yeah. Even that had a cap to it because Russell Westbrook couldn't really shoot. But like,
But yeah,
if Matisse found a way to Golden State or some shit like that, that would be
oh
terrifying.
yeah,
That would be terrifying. I mean,
they
not
would
because he can
essentially be
score.
using him the exact same way they use Gary Payton, but he would probably just be a little bit better at that role.
All right. And before we wrap up, I want to talk about Draymond. Just
Okay.
briefly. Draymond needs to chill the fuck out. Like he needs all the antics trying to take the ball from Jason Tatum when they was at a fucking timeout, doing all
Yeah.
this shit. It's like, bro, I saw him, and what really made me mad, the reason I really want to talk to this and it popped up in my head, is that he was clapping at Andrew Wiggins for missing the defensive assignment. Like and like going crazy on him, like clapping at him like he really did something wrong. My guy, during the fucking finals, you have more turnovers than you have points. And you're
Exactly.
trying to get onto him. And I understand, I respect Andrew Wiggins for not for like going okay or turning the shoulders, whatever, next play. I'm gonna be there. But if I was him, motherfucker, we literally had to use you for a defensive substitution. We had
Yeah.
to take you out the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have fouled out more times than you have put up 10 points in this goddamn playoffs, bro. Like, don't hit me with that bullshit. He needs to sit down, bro. Realize, figure his shit out, and then come back. Like, cause like I still have them winning the championship, but it's like Draymond just does too much shit. He just does too much.
I think the problem is Draymond is one of those players like Patrick Beverly, like Udonis Haslam. Like that's their role on the team is to kind of be on everybody. You know what I mean? Like to just be that sort of voice that's heard, even if they're not the best player on the team. Like they're and then on top of that, like what we saw with him when Tatum, like he's the agitator. Like that's his thing. Like he gets under people's skin.
But it's also stupid because y'all weren't blowing them out until the end stretch to that fourth quarter stretch when y'all went up by 20 and weren't blowing them out. It was like a 10-point game. You get a tech, they get to put points on the board. It's like, bro, it doesn't make sense. Like I understand you feel like you have the game in control,
but at the
just
same
something
time,
like that could swing something.
At the same time, he probably feels like, you know what? If I'm not contributing in the way that I typically do, I can at least give you this. And if I foul out, I foul out. Because if you're winning without me, that means I need to just find some other way to contribute.
Okay.
So it's like I can see why he's maybe not as concerned about not being able to play if the team is doing well without him. If the team was doing terribly, but he was doing well, I don't think you would see the same antics out of Draymond. I think you would see him more so just trying to get everybody else sort of on the same page.
All right.
I think because they're doing well without him, he's like, all right, let me just find a different way to contribute. It's like with most good players, what they tell you is like, you know what, if your shot's not falling, play great defense.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not doing what you're used to doing or what you want to do something else. Just contribute. Just find a way to help the team win. And if that means getting under Jason Tatum's skin, if my shot's not falling and I'm not like contributing in the way that I want to or that I typically do, I'm gonna just try and psych the opposing players out. Like
I'm glad
if
that
that's
you
the
said
best
that.
option that I got, then I'm gonna do it.
I'm so glad that you said that. If your shot's not falling, you do something else.
Yeah.
I've never seen Steph Curry play defense like I've seen him play defense in this finals.
Yep.
It is honestly like God, bro. Like I didn't know you had this in you.
Yeah.
But like Steph Curry is playing like all defensive player. Like it might not be steals, but like you're not blowing by this guy.
And this is one of the first times where he's had to, but also where he could without it being a detriment to the team.
Because like for the most part,
because they have Jordan Poole.
Yeah. For the most part,
And Clay's back.
he's on the Marcus Smarts, the Derek Whites,
Yeah.
but they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, yo, Steph got the clamps. Steph got those clamps, man.
Yep. Yep. And the thing is, when you have somebody like Steph, and I will say the same thing about JJ Redick too. Like when you got guys whose game is built around movement, 9 times out of 10, they're in better shape than you.
Yeah,
So it's like if they were to stop focusing on offense and focus purely on defense, they are going to get on your nerves. Like think about TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell was not a scorer on offense, but if there was two things that I can say about TJ was that he kept his dribble alive always,
and you don't get one of
and
them backcourt shifts.
he did not stand still ever.
Yes.
I don't think I ever saw TJ McConnell on the court standing still. So if you're somebody like him and you're not scoring, I can take all that extra energy and I can put it into just staying in front of you.
There's I'm kind of happy you said that. There's like a new TJ McConnell.
Yeah.
Jose
Talking
Alvarado.
about Jose.
Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Alvarado, man. Grand Theft
I
Alvarado.
love Jose.
I love that,
I
man.
love Jose.
I love
I like Jose. He's like Patrick, but nice.
Yeah, he's a nice Patrick.
Pat, I don't like how mean Patrick Beverly is. It's like you don't do enough to be mean.
Right.
You can be annoying. You definitely do enough to be annoying. TJ McConnell, if you're playing against him, I'm sure it's annoying.
Yeah.
I'm sure playing against Jose Alvarado is annoying.
TJ used to DeMar wanted to fight TJ, bro.
Yeah.
TJ was not letting him be able to get to none of his moves. He was right there on his counter moves.
Exactly. But to be annoying and to be loud and braggadocious and like as crazy as Patrick is, that's when I draw the line. Yeah. At least if you're Draymond, you can say, well, I have a defensive player of the year and 4 championships or 3 championships. And it's like, okay. Patrick Beverly has literally nothing.
Joel got him and Joel got a tech. I don't know if you knew this. Him and Jose got a tech against each other.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
He was like in a press game conference. He was like, "Come on, Joel, you know I ain't got money like that."
Yeah.
And Joel paid for his fine. That was dope.
Yeah, they got a double tech. Yeah, I remember that.
Jose ever
that's the cool pesky player that you don't like not being on the same team as him, but you respect it.
Yeah. And
you respect his game. I can't name a whole lot of players who I feel like hold Patrick Beverly in that same regard.
There was one, and I forget his name. He wasn't in the league long, but he was just.
No, I mean like a star.
Oh, a star like Patrick Beverly?
No, I'm saying a star who likes Patrick Beverly.
Oh, okay. I was about to say because you about to say a star like Patrick Beverly who talk. I was about to say if you want to.
I mean Jimmy.
I would go farther. I would go a Hall of Famer, and I would go KG.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
KG.
Absolutely.
KG
absolutely.
Called somebody's wife. He called Melo wife Honey Nut Cheerio.
And you know what's crazy? I don't know if he's ever confirmed or denied that he actually said that.
I mean, he apologized for it, so I guess
because he apologized for what he said, but he never said what he said.
Melo.
He basically said what I said to Melo went too far. Like that was it. He never went into details. When people ask him, like, "Did you really say that?" He was like, "Well, I was talking a lot of trash, and I went a little too far." But he never says like, "Yeah, I said that." Because if he really said that, that's sick.
Melo was like waiting by their team fucking bus, bro. Melo was waiting by the team bus.
I would be too.
Waiting by the team bus.
Me too. Nigga, I'd be on the bus.
And
I snatched the driver off. I'm like, fuck that. We going somewhere else.
When Melo was at the free throw line, they was chanting Honey Nut Cheerios.
I know. The fact that not only he said it, but the fact that it leaked, like it got out, like now that's gonna follow you for your whole career. That probably contributed to Melo cheating.
Yeah.
He was probably like, it would be too shallow if I divorced Lala over this. I gotta give her a reason to divorce me. Because I gotta get out of here.
He do it for one of them fucking Instagram posts where they like, listen, it just didn't work out.
Exactly.
Out. Listen, I don't even like Honey Nut Cheerios. I didn't even know why we were together in the first place.
Yeah. Why'd you and Lala break up? Because I'm a Frosted Flakes man.
We're Frosted Flakes.
I got tired of it. I couldn't take it anymore.
I got tired of that shit, man. Man. I think that's it. Man. That's all.
That is all, folks. That is all she wrote. and by she I mean Marquise. So make sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching or reading, not reading, what else do people do? Listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to add it to your favorites, because I'm sure it's one of your favorites at this point.
Yeah.
If you're with us on episode 3, you're hooked by this point.
Shout out to Belgium.
Shout out to Belgium.
Belgium, we love you.
Our second highest
most downloaded
downloads have come from Belgium.
Belgium.
Shout out to Belgium.
Why are you watching
I can't
this?
say this enough,
know.
but we love you. We love you, and we love your waffles.
We love you, man. We love you, Belgium.
Yep.
All right.
I wish I knew something in your language that I could say that was nice. I also wish I knew what your language was. Because I was about to say Belgish. But I was like, that can't be right. And that doesn't even sound right.
And just like that, all of them have immediately canceled. That's no longer related.
I'm so sorry. Your country looks beautiful. I hope to visit.
All right.
Maybe we can do a podcast live from Belgium while we eat waffles. That would be sick.
That'd be dope as fuck, bro.
It would be. I'm sure you'll have more than just waffles. Obviously, I'm joking. But we will be getting waffles.
Yes, we will.
When we come, because I'm speaking this into existence now. We're coming to Belgium.
We're going to Belgium.
Yep. Right after. Where else are we gonna go?
We're going to Disney World.
And with that, this has been the Untitled Sports Podcast. Have a good night, everybody, or day. I don't know when you're listening to this, but goodbye.
Bye.